Welcome everyone to the What's Your Problem podcast, a podcast where we speak about our problems, your problems, somebody else's problems, and there's no kind of there's no formula with this. We're just doing it as we want, right? And thank you to everybody that's been watching our previous podcasts as well. The views have been mad, and I'm overwhelmed. I didn't expect this to happen, and there's something that I want to do with you guys. It's not about always having famous guests on. It's not always about having, the next big blogger on. It's also about having people that I know, that I'm close with, people that I've seen over the years grow. And there's one thing that I haven't done is brought someone on that we can really divulge and find out about them. There's so many other things that you need to do, but the main thing that you need to do right now is, because I didn't know this was so important, right? And I'm really against this, but please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're not subscribing, please you go onto Acast and all the other Spotify's and stuff like that, to wherever you're streaming from. Make sure that you subscribe to that as well, and you'll get like little bell notification. Just do it all. Like, I need you to help me. Don't be a pagan in it. Just do the thing. But today we've got a very, very special guest on, someone that I've known for so many years now, someone I had the pleasure to work alongside, someone that I've seen grow over the years. And there's so much that we haven't spoken about personally, because every time we see each other, it's always in like a workspace. It's not really like where we can sit and really talk about, oh, you know what happened last month, or what's happening over the past years, what's been happening, how are you feeling? We've never really had that conversation. But we had quite a big conversation about a couple of months ago. So I thought, you know what, it's right that we get him onto this podcast today, on the What's Your Problem podcast. Our guest, Tarik, what's happening?
Nothing, mate. All good. Just want to say thank you for having me, obviously.
No, thank you for inviting us to your humble abode.
No, it's all right. It's
and
good,
cleaning up the whole place for us. So
I had to clean everything in case some of you guys are like, yo, this guy doesn't clean his spot.
He doesn't clean his spot, yeah. We're letting that. He only cleaned it because we came.
Exactly. Nah, that's wrong. We clean it generally, just saying, in case someone makes a dodgy comment.
That's it. We're just a little disclaimer there for you.
Literally.
But yeah, how you been though, Tarik?
Not bad, man.
Do you know, we've not seen each other properly since the pandemic.
That's actually very true.
We talk a lot. We see each other online, and I think that's the best thing about the online stuff.
Yeah.
Other than all the nonsense, the good thing is that we don't feel too far away from people that we know.
That's true.
So, and we speak quite often, and we was actually on another podcast, on another platform a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
And it was about your business and what you do, and in Bengalis in like the industry and whatnot. And I really wanted to uncover like other things that we spoke about, which the other interviewer didn't really speak about.
Fair point. Yeah.
And we kind of spoke about something that kind of divulges into your past, yourself, how things are, how you feel. And I don't think anyone ever sees that side of you as well. Like, no one really knows who's Tarik.
It's true.
There's a lot of rumors about you. There's a lot of rumors about me. There's always that. That's always going to be the case.
It's true.
I feel like people only see what they want to see as well. When I say that, like, yeah, when people see the cars, they see the Instagram, they see the clothes, they see the money, they see the office, they see the cameras, whatever it is, they think he's made it.
Correct.
Or she's made it,
It's
or
true.
he's done it. It relates probably to everyone we've been on this podcast, is they've kind of got this backstory that nobody really knows about. And they think that everything's like rosy. Business is rosy. It's simple. They're lucky. It's just that I'm never going to be able to do it because, they've had like a silver spoon or something like that. But there's something that I feel like I didn't find on any other podcast that you did, is take us back, Tarik. Where did you grow up anyway?
So, okay, I'm assuming no one knows this. I wasn't even born here.
Where was you born? Bangladesh.
I
I don't know why, because you made it a point. Yeah, that's why I'm laughing now. Because there's nothing wrong with that.
This is the thing. No one knows anyway. No one needs to know. It's nothing that needs to be disclosed. But the way I look at it is, it's not a big thing. I was born back home. I came here when I was like 6 years old.
Yeah.
I guess it's a good thing as well, because it shows regardless where you were born. I mean, 6 is not an age where you would be learning a lot anyways. But point is, it doesn't matter where you come from or where you grew up, you can still make it somewhere.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm trying to say? So So anyway, to answer your question, I was born back home. When we came here, obviously we had nothing. I for the first year or so, we stayed in our uncle's house.
Yeah. Where was that?
That's good. Camden, basically.
Camden, okay, North London.
So North London, in other words. So we stayed over in my uncle's house, and then the next year we stayed over to our other uncle's house, which was in Barnet kind of side of things. All to do with North London.
Yeah.
And from there, we then got ourselves a council house, which is in Bethnal Green.
Okay.
So my first primary school would have been in Bethnal Green. And then from there, I grew up properly in Bow E3 basically.
Okay.
So E3 postcode, sides, Bow, Bromley by Bow, that kind of area, in other words.
So you brought up in East London, basically.
East London, yeah, to be precise.
What was it like about growing up in Bow?
It was tough, man.
Because all we hear is like, you know, how Kano was brought up or how Wiley was brought up. But what's it like for a young Bangladeshi person? How was your English back then?
So by the time I went to, so after primary school, I was fine. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
I think, primary school wasn't even that hard.
Yeah.
I think, so first year 1, year 2 and year 3 was maybe a bit bad, like in the respects where I was called a freshie and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, did you have that in school?
Yeah, 100%, man, 100%.
But what was your school predominantly then? Was there like other Bengalis there?
Yeah, predominantly Bengalis, yeah.
And they still cuss you about it?
Yeah.
They would, innit? That's what it is.
Exactly, it's the truth, isn't it? Like, they need to find a reason to pick on someone.
Yeah.
Do you get it? If you're a freshie and you just come from back home, which everyone clearly knew because you could see it, kind of thing. And obviously I wasn't speaking English, so it was automatically there anyways. But yeah, they found something to pick on. That was it really.
Yeah,
but yeah, after primary school, I was like a normal guy, like perfectly normal. The education was
so
there.
you felt accepted.
Yeah.
Did you have a passport then as well?
Oh yeah. Listen, I've had a passport since day one, bro.
Oh, did you have it straight away? It's hard
Obviously.
nowadays, though, you know, to get that passport.
Yeah.
So when you was like in school, right?
Yeah.
Take us back to, let's say, like 10-year-old Tarik.
Oh man.
Who was 10-year-old Tarik back then?
So I think now that you guys know my history, where I was born back home, I think 10-year-old Tarik wanted to feel part of a group, part of a,
like most young people.
Yeah, but I think what with me was that I wanted it more because automatically I was already disregarded as a nobody kind of thing. So yeah, I tried my best to fit in with these guys, you know, where they would do something stupid or a bit out of the ordinary, I would do it because I wanted to be that cool guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I would follow, I wouldn't say peer pressure, but I would follow those things to want to be like them.
Yeah.
But generally, I was just a normal, quiet guy, keeping myself to myself. I wasn't the most smartest guy either. Again, going back to my starting and my beginnings. So I was mostly at the lowest. You know, in school you have like a category of 1, 2, or 3, and you got the higher students in that category. They sit together. Right. I was on the third.
Okay.
Yeah, and again, it goes back to that really. I wasn't the most smartest kid. So yeah, I was always at the lowest group, should I say.
Okay.
At times, I remember actually, I actually had an extra person. You know, you have the support teachers.
Yeah.
I had a support teacher to help me to understand
So
things.
was that with everything, like English, maths, whatever it was?
Yeah, I'd say so.
What did you struggle with most in school?
In school, I think it's all of those, bro. Let's be honest. Like art, I was amazing at art because it didn't really require me to know maths, English, or science. Art is art. It's within your hands, right?
Yeah.
It's visual. So I was really good at with art, which we'll get to anyway. This is why I'm here today. But yeah, with all of those 3 subjects, the core subjects, I needed support. I needed someone to help me.
How was that like? Was that the same for you in secondary school as well then?
No, secondary school I was perfectly fine.
You was okay by then? It's just primary school was a tough one.
Because I started late. It was tough. And again, that didn't help me to make friends as well, I guess.
So did you feel like very out of place sometimes?
I think a lot of times I didn't really understand. Understand meaning, I didn't understand that this was support. I thought maybe I was just getting extra special treatment.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
You know what? It's interesting you say that because like I was brought up in North London, so it's like mainly like English people were around there. And when I say English, like white people. Yeah. You could pick out the black and the Asian people, Turkish people, Chinese people, wherever it was, whatever background you was, you could pick them out. And when I think back to it now, I'm like, yo, I've faced bare racism. But you know, in them days, I didn't get it. Man. I didn't understand it at all. And it was like little things like, for no reason, they wouldn't let me play football with them. For no reason. So I would just be like, why?
That's it. That's the question. It would be just, why not? You're racist. Because you didn't understand it.
And I don't think they understood it. But they just wouldn't let me get involved in those days.
It's true.
I started realising how damaging that is to an individual early on. Yeah, because it kind of shapes how them. I do things after. Like, you know, you started to take everything as norms now. Yeah. The way people treat you, the way they talk to you. It's like, why do we always... Have you ever felt like we kind of accepted that we're the lower.
I think you're right, man. It is true. It just shapes you, like you said, from the early stages to now. It just shapes you, and you just accept a lot of things nowadays.
Yeah.
But it's true. I have noticed.
But it's bad in the sense of like, if I was to, if anybody else was to kind of forward themselves for something that they think they should do, whether it be creative field, music, whatever it is, they should feel like they should be able to do it. But I feel like there's that barrier that makes them think, yo, I don't want to do it. A lot of Asian people blame the parents.
I was just about to say something to that.
But I don't think that's always the case anymore. Because you got to remember, right? When your family came here, they didn't have no money, right?
Yes.
My family came over, we had nothing as well,
correct,
right?
Correct.
So they had the best aspirations for people like us as we were younger. Now, you know, thank God, the communities have more money now. And when I say more money, they're not like flossing, but they can send their kids to tutors and, you know, extra classes, or whether it be like sports, music, whatever it is, they can develop they have the funds now to develop it. And I'm talking about this generally. Not everybody has this benefit.
Correct.
So for a young Asian person to be a footballer, or to be, you know, a musician, or to be in the creative arts, or a producer, whatever it is, they should feel like they can or are able to do it now. And
it's possible more now than ever before.
Yeah,
I'll be
exactly.
very honest. But I'm just going to touch on that little topic that you said about parents. I think with my parents, and I'm assuming it'll be similar to your parents, where they were the first generation here. All they thought about is educating us and to bring us into becoming doctors, accountants, lawyers, solicitors, whatever, what those fancy titles. And that was one of the peer pressures that we had from my parents. I'm not saying we're blaming them. It's just from early stage, they kind of built us to think that we need to become something along those lines. So creativity, an artist or a photographer or a cinematographer, those kind of thing, a producer was never in our parents' minds.
Yeah.
Neither was a musician, forget football.
Yeah.
And even nowadays, I'm like a barber.
Yeah.
Man, think about it, how our barbers killing it today.
Yeah.
Back when I was in college, I wanted to become a barber. Funny story. But my dad was like, no. Back home, we see them as X.
Yeah.
But if my father knew that a barber could make more than an accountant...
Yeah. That is the reality of it.
It's the reality, bro.
But there's loads of jobs like that. What about that you lot make nowadays as photographers and videographers? Yeah. I'm jealous. I feel I got into a wrong field.
Do you say that?
Yeah. Listen, I've seen you lot invoices. Yeah. Don't try it. You're trying to go on a humble one right now.
We don't create invoices, bro. We just go up in it.
But that's my thing. You lot make... You know what? It's such a good thing because I've seen the way that the industry has grown. But yeah, going back to what you're saying about like parents and stuff like that, what was your parents' aspirations then for you?
Man, you know what? Let me just start off by saying, I love my parents. I genuinely love them, man.
He's about to say something negative.
No, because you know what it is? When I made that decision of not becoming an educated man to become whatever they wanted, they supported me. But let me get into this. So I think with my parents, they didn't really force doctors and all that stuff on us. But they wanted it, and we knew that they wanted it because they were struggling.
Yeah.
They were struggling. Dad was on an ex-salary, looking after 4 or 5 kids, and education was the core thing. Whenever we bunked school, whenever we got that negative call from school, they're like, what is this? I'm working so hard, putting food on the table, giving you that, and you guys are messing around.
Yeah.
What is the point? I might as well give up. All I wanted was to be someone amazing, whether it be in business or educate myself. And obviously, like any son or daughter would want to make their parents proud.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, so like in regards to my mom and dad, they didn't really peer pressure myself into becoming something. I just knew they wanted something special in terms of those special titles. But when it came to the crunch of me wanting to drop out of university.
Oh, so you dropped out of uni?
Yeah.
That's the big one.
Yeah, so I dropped out of uni to pursue Picture That.
What uni did you go to?
I went to Ravensbourne University.
Okay.
Officially, it was in Kent. Second year was in front of the O2, which is currently where it is now. And that's one of the top unis for art and design and creative fields, basically.
So is that what you took art and design?
Yeah, I took motion media.
Okay.
So more to do with my editing side. So like Lightroom, Photoshop, Final Cut Pro, 3D, Maya we used, blah, blah, blah. All those creative tools, basically.
So when was you in uni then? Like what years?
You've got me there, man. So it'd be when you're 18 and 19, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So you're looking at 2008, 2009.
Okay.
Yeah. Man,
You're a bit older than me,
old,
then,
man.
No, you're a bit older than me then.
Cut this out, yeah. No one needs to know my age.
I think I finished school in 2009. So you dropped out of uni. What was the first thing your parents said?
They weren't having it, man.
Nah.
Nah, man. They thought I was going bananas. They thought like I was one of those kids that they never wished for, if that makes sense. But I explained to them, I was like, Mum and Dad, look, I did first year, I did second year. It's not for me.
Yeah.
I really desperately want to start a business.
But did you already have picture that in mind at that time?
So this is the thing. It's good you said that, actually. Picture that was there, right? Picture that was there in the back of everything. But it was such a tiny idea. It was so tiny that it didn't even give me enough money to say it's my full-time job.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
bro?
yeah,
Like
of course,
you'd get
of
one or
course.
two gigs here and there.
Yeah. And you'd be happy taking that extra money a month
Yes,
to pay
that's
your
it, that's
expenses, basically.
So I dropped out of uni. I did more full-time on my part-time jobs. So Domino's and a call center that I was working at.
Oh, so you worked at Domino's, yeah?
Domino's, man.
And call
I
center.
was making pizza, bro.
So wait, is that the only 2 jobs you've ever had? I was going to
No,
ask you
I
that.
had more
though.
jobs.
So what jobs did you do?
So my very first job was at Domino's.
Yeah.
But that was it was in Northwood Hills. I used to commute 2 hours for a £5.70.
Trust me. Is that how much was your lowest wage?
£5, yeah.
Mine was £4.41.
No, £5 was my lowest. Sorry.
Nah, £4.41 was my lowest. I started
Is
working
it?
at 16, so you couldn't even get the higher wage
True,
up until you're 18. But
Yeah.
I don't know how we lived off that money back then. You know that. I
Think
know it's a
about it.
different time, but
I think it was fine because our parents paid for everything.
yeah, it's true.
Like
yeah.
they paid for the rent, gas, electric. They even gave you extra money for your little, pocket expenses.
Yeah, it's
You
true.
didn't have to pay anything.
Yeah, it's very
At that
true.
age, that's the beautiful thing. Like your parents have created your foundation so you can step onto the ladder and
Yeah.
not stress about paying a mortgage or paying this. But yeah, Domino's, and then I used to work in a warehouse stacking boxes and shelves and whatnot.
Yeah.
That was £5 an hour.
Yeah.
And then from there it was a call center. Those were the 3 jobs from the top of my head that I used to have. Please.
You know, there's a Rolex that has a Domino's Rolex.
Nah. Are you serious?
It's legit as well.
What?
I think it's about 6 bags. Yeah.
You would buy that, man?
Yeah, so that's humble beginnings, man. It's nice to hear that you've done these kind of jobs. I feel like a lot of people will think that you just picture that fell at your feet
Hell no.
because they don't know about this stuff. I feel like I didn't even know about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I never assumed that this just fell at your feet anyway. But a lot of ignorant people will think that as well. But so I've heard the stories about how you only had like a couple grand or something like that,
Yeah,
or grand
that's right,
to start
yeah.
up the business. And to be fair, back in those days, that's all you really needed, isn't it?
True.
But I do feel like you changed this photography, videography game early on, because I think when you changed it is when I started.
Yes.
So that was when I finished uni, kind of got onto it. I think like 2015, I want to say, is when you maybe around that time.
That's when we blew up.
When you
actually,
really
right?
started doing things, and that's kind of when I started. And your name was ringing in those days.
Correct.
Anyway, before I even met you, and I can confidently say that it's taken you. It was probably, I don't know how you did it, because in those days it was the fresh stuff. Like early, even 2015 and prior, maybe 2013 and prior,
Yeah.
it was very less pose on a mad one, like with your husband or your
Yeah,
wife.
cheesy
Yellow,
Bollywood stuff.
and before that it was the head in the flowers and duplicate them 10 times. that was the bad one. Open your hands and you see your wife's face in your hands and all that. Like that was that back then, and then they kind of transitioned into this kind of let's make it flowery, do pictures in a park and stuff like that. I'm just thinking back to the stuff that I've seen when I started off, because I was still DJing at Mendy's and weddings and stuff like that prior to that. So I remember seeing it. Even the clothes were very, very different.
True.
So how did you transition into that kind of, let's make it a bit more fresh? You know what it is? People are very, especially Asian people, they're very stuck in their way into doing it that way. And once they see something different, it's hard to get them to do that.
So true,
I'm still struggling into getting people to take certain services that we do, because they're a bit like, until they see 10 man do it, they're not going to do it.
That's it. The proof has to be there, or that you have to show an example of how it was for them to take it. But to answer your question, how did I kind of differentiate myself, or how did I do something different? I think one thing that really helped me was the fact that I was never in the wedding industry. I was a young lad going to university, working with, not being racist, but like white people, all these different individuals who had different flair of creativity, that when I jumped into the scene of weddings, my vision was already like 10 steps away from them. Not saying it's 10 steps ahead, but it's 10 steps away from them. So I didn't want to do the typical Bollywood stuff and whatnot. So I went in there and said, hey guys, look, let's do a photo shoot outside in the park. Let's go to a very nice a location, whether it be Addington Palace, you know, those popular ones back in the days. And that's what set us aside. So we had like a little pre-shoot added to the movie to give it a whole different flair, which stood out so much, because it's no longer your shots in a back garden, shots in the front foyer of your wedding venue, blah blah blah. So that's what made us different. And I had a lot of energy. I was young, I was new, I was fresh into the game, I had a lot of energy, a lot of ideas just popping. So I used that to the max to do all that stuff. And second to all that, I think it was the cameras that I used. A lot of guys back then used those VHS cameras with tapes in them.
The one that goes on the shoulder.
There you go. And I was mostly one of the first to go into DSLR cameras.
Okay.
And that was a massive thing, because DSLR back then, we're going back near enough 8-9 years ago. Were known for just photography.
Okay.
So for you to use a photo camera to shoot video was unheard of, and it was absurd. Like literally. Like the boys were laughing at me, and I'm being serious. They were like, this guy's charging X money using a photo camera to take videos. They were even saying these things to clients so they don't come and book me.
But because the industry is older than you, more than us in general.
And they were like literally scrutinizing me and belittling me, saying that this is a guy who just came from nowhere and he's using photo cameras, he doesn't know what he's doing. But bro, I'm telling you, not in a bad way, I took over so rapidly that some of these companies don't even exist now. They don't even exist.
I'm gonna say something that's so bad, but there was a company that I worked with like back in the day when I first started, and I see them working in like retail and that now, man, and I felt bare sad that day, because I was like, you guys didn't move with the times, so you had to come back to work.
Bro.
And they were doing their thing back then. You know them, I know them. Like we know who they are. But I'm not gonna bait them out. But it's like, I was like, right, is it really? And I felt embarrassed to go and chat to him, because I was like, you was the guy back then. And now I've seen it, and maybe because of the pandemic and stuff as well, and maybe
could be.
You know what? People are sometimes sick of this industry. Let's be real. The stuff we have to deal with, a lot of people don't know that.
You're right. You know, maybe the pandemic just woke them up and said, I don't want this no more. I found my next best thing.
Balancing life, and just because like just before we was recording, we were saying how much a toll it's had on your back, my back.
God. Right at the beginning, I never used to have an office. I used to have customers coming into my house, into my bedroom. So that's early
mad.
stages.
I don't know how you even did that,
bro. Back then it was normal. It was fine. Like I was oblivious to the concept, but now, not in a disrespectful way, but no in hell would I invite someone to my house. This is my personal spot.
Of course.
Right. But back then they used to come. I used to have dad come with his daughter, mum and dad coming with his son. Blah blah blah. Even up to like 5 people. They used to sit on my bed. That's mad. So awkward to say now. But that's how it was.
There's some random people come sit on your bed.
Man, bro, they don't mind address my house, like the door number even.
That's it. If you lose that wedding video,
long day bro, for you. My door's gone. I'll lose my door. But so back then it was weird, but then it was fine at the same time.
Has there been a time where you just think, you know what, forget this, man, like I'm not on it no more?
As much as it sounds bad, I did have those times.
No, it's not. Why would you say that it's bad though? Because the thing is, right, I get it. This is your baby. It's your heart and soul. You dropped out of uni to do this thing. Yeah. But not every day is
going to be
a sunny day.
And sunny day, exactly.
Like there's ups and downs in people's lives, because you're still human at the end of the day, irrespective of the business, irrespective of the money, because money doesn't buy everything.
Nope. Yeah, I think let's go back about 4 years ago. I wanted to pack it up to the point where I had enough. I think it was mainly because of the idea of people in the industry just ruining the market. What we would charge, let's say we charge $1,000 for something, they're charging, if anything, £500 or 50%. So if we're doing 10 grand, they're doing $5,000, blah blah blah. And it put me off so much to the point that a client would come, we'll have so many meetings with so many various clients, they'll never call back. Because why? Because they found someone cheaper who's promising them to replicate our work legitly. Like they would have the word, picture that, we'll copy, or we will, we can do that. And I think the good thing was I didn't, and the reason why is a good thing is because those clients who took those and have a younger sister or a brother, they came back to us. realizing that it's not about the $5,000, it's about the quality of work.
Yeah.
That picture that would have provided, and they regret it so much. And we've had so many calls and messages saying, Tarik, man, I regret not going with you guys. These guys effed me over. We still haven't received the video. La la la. So many stuff.
That's the biggest one, isn't it? People not receiving their stuff.
Man.
There's bare companies out there that just don't give them their stuff.
There's so many people out there.
Have you ever been like? Have you ever done anything like that? Have you ever lost footage or anything like that? Or
so between me and you, look, this is me being honest, and this is how I built my business, with honesty. I'm not gonna lie and say I haven't. There was an occasion, but it was not to do with me losing it. It was more the memory card corrupted. So it was completely out of my hands. But luckily, it was a secondary camera.
You know, like going back to what you're saying, like with people kind of talking about your business in a certain way, I do feel like it was, and this is just my assumption of hearing things and being around, and I'm sure you heard the same stuff about me, because like people do I think there is a lot of miscommunication between people in general. But people make assumptions and they get upset with certain ways that you talk to them and stuff like that. Because the person that you, for example, you might really hate somebody, but then they might be having a bad day, or they might just be like that, but they're actually really nice people. I do feel like certain people have probably made assumptions about you as well, personally, and the way that you are. Have you ever heard that? Like people say, you know what, he's a bit arrogant. Yeah, he's a bit of an arsehole.
I've heard so much in my years.
Have you ever done that though? Was you arrogant or was you an arsehole to them? That's what I'm asking.
I'm gonna be very honest with you, bro. No, I've never been arrogant. I would never think of myself to be God's gift, for example. Never. I will stay that Tarik who was in that primary school, who wanted to become something and has worked hard enough to become that person. I will never forget where I started, in other words. And mainly is because that's my personality, and secondly it's because just as quickly I got to where I was, or as hard as I got to where I was, it could easily reverse itself.
100%. But also, like, other people have always been like, don't like that guy. They've said it to me personally, and a lot of people make assumptions and stuff like that, and I always say the same thing. Cool, you lot got your issue with the guy.
Just let it be, man.
I don't need to know. But at the same time, like, he's never done that to me, so I can't really. Cool, if you don't like his persona, or if you that's your beef. But do you feel people get that with you? Because you know what it is, right? I'm a bit of an introvert. I'll be honest, bro. I kind of keep myself to myself, and it's mainly because, let's say, trauma of dealing with the nonsense that I've had to deal with. Because people are like, this guy, they think that I'm out raving every week. You've seen what we do. It's not that. No, it's not that.
Far from it.
It's so far from it, right?
100%. I think you're right. They do. Until they know you personally, either they're your friends or whatever, family members, no one would ever be able to judge a person for who they really are. Because, and sometimes it's our fault, because we portray it, whether it be on social media, on the day where he looked at me, he knows my face, but I kind of just swiveled away because I don't know the brother. I didn't say salam, or I didn't say hello, so he thinks, I'm a stuck up guy. Think about it. He knows my face because he's saw me on socials, but I didn't say hello or hi or whatever. But it's not my fault. I don't know you. Like, I can't go to everyone. That's one. And like, as I was saying, social media does play a huge role. And there is this thing that, you know, we show people what we want to show. Or do you get it? I'm not gonna put up a Snapchat or an Instagram video of me crying because I've had the worst day of my life. No, I wouldn't. I would put the good days, and it's a normal thing. It's a normal thing to do. So we portray ourselves to be this God's gift on social media, but in reality, we're just a soft, humble kind of guy who's worked hard, who had nothing and has something now, and who appreciates it. That's how we are. So people just see you for what you show them for, and sometimes misunderstand or read you differently. So I have seen that. I've seen a lot of that.
I remember you telling me a while ago when we done the podcast on another platform that there was a time where you lost like the team, and like you didn't like. Tell me about that time. Like, it's important for our listeners to know through a time that was quite tough for you.
I think what it is there comes a time where a company has a moment where it transitions over, and what I mean by that is you'll have a team who has been there to help to work for you or help you, however you want to put it, and they would see you jump from 10% to 60-70%, and at that moment they think to themselves, if he did it, I can do it. which is fine. I'm not here to say no one can spread their wings. Let's be honest. If everyone had a choice, they wouldn't be doing a 9 to 5. They wouldn't want to be stuck on a salary or an hourly rate. We'd always want to be successful and being independent and having all the time in the world. So I think it came to that point where those team members felt that if he could have done it with us, we could do it ourselves. So they had that in their mind, and they just thought, oh, it's about time I leave because I can do whatever I want now. I've learned everything, which is the sad reality of it. I've taught them everything that I know, and I thought they would be there for a long time, but so be it. Is what it is. They wanted at that point anyway, this goes back, I'd say about 7-8 years ago. They wanted crazy salaries that I couldn't afford at that time. Regardless of how well we were doing, we still was building our business. We still needed X computers, X lenses, X cameras. Where is that investment coming from? I can't give someone a stupid salary knowing the fact that we still don't have all the fundamental tools that we need, and the growth is still growing. So I couldn't afford the salaries, so they used that as a gateway to kind of say, hey, I'm leaving. And I think the worst part is that most of these boys went to the competitors. I'd say competitors, I wouldn't say they were my competition. It's just they were local businesses that you are basically competing against. And that's what was bad about the whole scenario. Like, if they came up to me and said, bro, like, I want to start something, alhamdulillah, no problem, bro, I will help you. If anything, no problem. I'd be if you want, I'll be part of your new venture. No one needs to know I'm part of it, but I'll be part of it. And believe me, if these boys are watching it today, they would be on a whole different level if I was to be able to support them like that. But they started off in a negative way and finished off a negative way, and not in a disrespectful way. Again, I don't see you anymore. I don't see you in the wedding industry. I don't know where you are. I don't know what you're doing. What does that show? You thought something. You felt that you guys would get to the top, but you didn't. Not because you did anything wrong. It's because you started it wrong. You started it in a spiteful way, spreaded rumors, said something that you shouldn't have.
What the rumors that you heard, like?
So I'd say there was rumors where they were saying, oh, I paid them X amount per hour, and he's making this, he's making that. Like, why would you say that? You were happy with that. If you weren't happy, just say it. And just the way someone left because I wasn't able to afford to give you more than that, it's fine, no problem. You're not here cuffed to the doors.
This is another thing which I don't understand is, when it comes to the paying side of stuff, they, especially in our industries, people see the end invoice and they think they should get some of that invoice money, if you know what I mean. That's what the workers will think, or the staff, or the people working.
Sorry, I'm going to stop you there because it's quite important that you've mentioned that. That's one. They'll see £1,000, but they're getting 100 quid, for example. But where the hell did this come from?
Yeah.
Where is the marketing coming from?
Yeah, exactly.
Where is everything coming from before it comes to the editing suite? Right? That's one. Two was the fact that they felt they were due credit. Yes, you edited the video, but you are working for picture that. Just not in a disrespectful way again. Just as you would be working for BBC or ITV or Warner Brothers or whatever, you'll have a credit at the end because that was promised to you at the end. But I didn't promise you when you started that you will have your name listed here as one of the editors. No, it's a company.
Yeah,
you're not a business partner. You're not a shareholder. You're not nothing like that. But you wanted credit like you owned the business.
Did you make that apparent to them at the time?
When you said at the time, as in right.
So they turned around and said to you, "Look, we want credit."
No,
they never said it, but you heard the rumor.
There you go.
So did they ever?
Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like, you can't expect something.
No,
you can't expect something. I can't. Like, if I said to them, bro, you're doing 30 hours a week, and then ended up somehow magically thinking you're going to do 50 hours a week, and I don't tell you and I have a go at you for not doing 50 hours, that's not fair on you.
This is my thing about miscommunication as well, because maybe if you both spoke a little bit more, it'd be a bit different.
100%.
You know what I mean? Maybe if there was more stuff communicated between you, then maybe you both wouldn't feel this way that you feel.
I've always said to the boys, even to today, if there is anything that I've done wrong or you want anything, communicate. Communication is the biggest key. Whether it's business, family, friends, a relationship, whatever it is, communication. We know that. Kai, today you wouldn't be here until you messaged me. You can't just step into my door.
Yeah.
You communicate with me, right?
I'm stepping in there whenever I want, bro. I'm just letting you
After
know.
Today you can. No problem. After today you can. But point is, with anything in life, bro, if you don't communicate, you're not going to get anywhere. Whether it be a...
You know what it is? I feel like I know exactly what you're saying,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I've made that same mistake myself.
Yeah.
Like, I did try to communicate, and I had the exact same situation as you. The guy turned around and said to me, and you've seen him, you know him from back in the day, right?
Yeah.
One of my main guys was like, yeah, like, it's always about you. And I was like, you're right, it is, but it's because I'm trying to build a brand right now.
Thank you very
so
much. But you and I will understand that, bro.
I don't think they get that. They got that back then. And it was hard to communicate that to somebody else who's trying to come up at the same time.
Yeah.
And you know, like, the things that I could have give now, I wish he was here to...
It's sad.
To do that.
No word of love. What you just said there today, if the guy that I've got in my mind right now was here today, I promise you he would have been my business partner today. I promise you. And I wish he's watching this. I promise you he would have been my business partner today if he just rolled with me, communicated with me, believed in me, trusted me. He would have been here today with me.
But how would you say that you was partly to blame into this situation happening? Because the way that I say I was partly to blame with the stuff that happened with my guys is I wasn't transparent enough with how it was happening.
Yeah.
At these times I was working part-time just so I could pay them.
Yeah.
And I did say that, but I feel like they felt that I was making it a point as opposed to showing, yo, this is what I'm doing to make this happen. They just saw the end invoice because I was transparent in that end. We're making this much off the job. We're making this much off the job. I'm giving you this much. But it's like...
Sorry, if you don't mind me asking, was he a business partner?
No, I wasn't a business partner.
But why would you do that?
You know what? Some of the boys that you will even see to this day, they've been with me from the start. There's about 3-4 of them that have been with me from the start. A couple of others them who are still around, they've only come on over the past couple of years. But the ones that have been from the start, they've stayed with me. And the good thing is that they got it back then. And there's been business partners and stuff before that just never understood it, which is fine, and we still talk to this day. But the ones that I don't talk to no more is because they fully hate me. And the only reason they hate me is because they feel like I was a bit selfish. But looking back to it now, I think, you know what, I can see why they'd feel like that. Because they were younger than me.
Correct.
They were hungry and they're thinking, this guy's getting everything and I'm getting nothing.
If you believe in yourself that you're willing to help the person, maybe you don't have the means today, but you've set yourself that target. You know what, one day this guy is going to be somewhere with me. Then that's fine.
That's how I feel like now with my guys. Like that
exactly.
I've got now.
And the second thing is, bro, when you've set that in your mind, you would work towards that. If you don't set it and it's just a fake word, it's thin air.
Would you say that if you had that communication or wherever it could not be communication, but do you say that if you had that time out with these people, that things would be different?
I'd say yes and no, and I'll tell you why yes. Certain people or certain ex team members left on a good note. Certain team members left taking data. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And data, not just physical data as in clips and data, also a database of clientele. So those are the people, regardless of whether I set them or not, I would not ever be able to move forward, because you've not only left on a negative note, you also stolen from me.
What if someone came up to you and said, you know what, I was young, I've done something wrong back then, I just want you to forgive me for something
I'd forgive them. I would forgive them.
Because people change.
People do change. In terms of like personally in my life, man, I think maybe certain business partners I had with other ventures, the biggest mistake ever. And I regret that so much.
What was the regrets like?
So I opened up a restaurant, steakhouse with shisha, and the partners that I had there, I felt like they didn't appreciate what I put onto the table. I was meant to be a silent partner, but I did more than that. I did physical work, whether it be for marketing, on the day itself, whatever it was. They just didn't appreciate it. Now, when the business was lifted to a point where it was sustainable, I slowly stepped down on supporting the business from whatever I could do. And I saw the business declining, and they still didn't realize that it could be potentially because this guy's not putting the marketing in, whether it's taking photos, pumping it on social media, whatever it is. And then it just became so rough that the guy wanted more of a bigger salary, although the business was declining. Nothing just made sense. And I just got rid of the business and regretted everything. I lost a lot of money in there as well. That's one thing.
Can you tell us the figure, how much you lost? Do you know why? Because we're at us not to be nosy, but some people need to understand the realities of
because you
goes
said that.
down.
And just because you said that, bro, I'll tell you what the figure was. Because you're right. A lot of people think we're living on dream, we're living a dream. No, so I lost between 40 and 50,000 pounds.
Grand.
Yeah.
That's a house. That's a house deposit.
Bro, that's one thing I regret it. And that's not the only time. If I list the losses that I've made in my life.
But tell us that we wouldn't know about the losses.
Okay. I'm going to tell you how much I lost this year. And no one knows. And there's no word of a lie. And I put Allah's name to this. This year I've lost.
But on business, or is it like personal stuff?
Investment.
On investments.
Yeah.
But that's the tricky thing about investments, isn't it?
It is.
You don't know when it's gonna.
I lost that, and it's only been 5 months.
Crazy.
Man, I have sleepless nights. I've had a sleepless night. Sorry, and that's just 2 things I've told you. There's more losses. A lot more losses.
So all these losses keep happening, and they've happened over time because you've been doing this thing for a long time, over 10 years.
Yeah.
So we all have ups and downs. You know what I mean? Pandemic didn't give us any more help, but there's a time. Let's say, for example, you lost, or even maybe before there was a harder time. How did that make you feel? Like, that this is gone now. Like, this money is not coming back.
It made me feel like this to the point where I ghosted from everyone, and some of my mates would realize, because they're like, bro, ever since you bought the house, you ghosted, and they know it's not. They don't know what it is. If they watch this video, they'll know what it is. I've lost so much money that I just kept myself away from everyone. And I just wanted to focus on business because I need to recoup. I needed to get business back up. I needed to focus and do what I do best. And I had a time, like, for a month that I just didn't enjoy nothing. Even driving a car just felt like just a normal car. Eating good food just felt like a local shop. Going to my house just felt like another house. I wasn't jolly. I wasn't bubbly. I was actually disrespectful to my parents. Whenever they said something, I used to flip out at them, and I regret that so much.
Do you regret these risks?
1,000,000%, man. Like,
what, all of them?
I'd say 2 or 3 of them. Mainly what happened this year, because this was a huge investment that could have potentially made me a bit more relaxed than where I am now. And there was things that I wanted to do with that money that I can't. And it set me back. Like, I wanted to buy a really nice car this year. It was my plan, it was my goal, but I can't. It set me
what car do you drive now?
I drive a Range Rover.
Because I went to drive a really nice car this year, and he drives a Range Rover.
No, but I mean,
what, did you get, a Rari or something? What's going on?
No, like, I used to have an R8, so
okay, I remember.
So I wanted.
You never
something.
took me for a spin in there, by the way. You didn't see it logging off. So.
But I wanted to buy something nice in that respect, in that caliber. But like I said, man, it's pushed me back a whole year. I'm not phased. I don't care. It's pushed me. I don't even give a shit. Like, sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, but I don't care. I've learned. I'm still here. I'm breathing. I still have my business. I still have my family. I still have everyone around me. It's just I had something set in my mind. I couldn't do it. And with me, I'm the kind of guy. If I wanted to buy this camera, whether it be 5 grand, 10 grand, I'd put that in my mind and work towards it. And when it doesn't happen, it just makes you feel like I've fallen back. And that's what I don't like. I don't like the fact that I've fallen back, because I'm a guy who takes good risks, and has always elevated in life rather than gone backwards.
But going backwards is a part of this process, isn't it?
And this is what people don't see. What people don't see is that L that you take, the loss that you take. They always see the sun at the end of that tunnel, basically the light on that end of that tunnel. But they need to hear these losses, bro, and they need to know how it will affect you. And also, what's more important is that when you take those losses, don't bring yourself down. Don't forget where you are, and do not do not stop grinding. If you stop, you're just going to continue taking those losses. There's days that I didn't even want to come to the office. I forced myself, even if it was for 2 hours, to show my face to the team. I had to be done. I literally came into the office for an hour or two and then just went back. But I needed to do that. That was part of the process of healing my mind. You know what I'm saying?
Kind of forcing yourself to lie to yourself, basically. Like, yo, I got to get up and
and I come here
to
to
work.
put in a smile. Like nothing happened. And like I said, what I've just told you today, bro, no one knows. Only a close people know. But I just want to say it because I don't want the world or the industry or whoever to think that I'm one of these kind of guys who is like this, who is like that, and who's had it all given. No, man.
I feel like people will make that assumption regardless because of who you are, because of what you've done, and because of what they see.
Yeah.
They're wrong for thinking that way, but they're not also wrong in the sense of that's just all they see. So how they're going to know?
They're not wrong because we portray those things.
Exactly. And that is people like us. That's our fault for doing
it's our
that.
fault, 100%.
It's a part of the parcel. But
exactly.
Did you ever have you ever faced like mad rumors that have been like a bit tainted to your name?
I've heard a lot. I'm gonna be honest. I've heard a lot. Even till today, I must really hear a lot. Like, bro, like who doesn't, man? Even an average Joe would be hearing rumors about them. Now, these rumors are pathetic. And you know what? To be honest, I'm glad these rumors because it just shows how far you've come to the point that these people think that creating a rumor would tarnish you.
Yeah.
And as long as you believe in yourself and you know you're not doing anything wrong, rumors can fly off the shelf.
Yeah.
But your true identity will never change. I.e., if someone said, "Oh, this guy is so disrespectful to his team. He doesn't value his team, or he's so rude to the clients, or he's I don't know, he's a flirt." I've heard a lot of that. He's a flirt.
Yeah. I've heard that as well.
Do you see what I'm trying to say? Now, if I was a flirt and I continued being a flirt and I denied it to those rumors, are you telling me my personality as being a flirt wouldn't continue off to the day I die?
Do you feel like you talk a bit too extra sometimes?
Nah, never. I wouldn't talk extra for no reason.
No, not for no reason, but you know, like you're already used to being this bubbly personal guy, yeah? So then what you're going to end up doing is saying a bit too many extra words to have your thing. Shall I tell you why? Because I'm like that with... Not with being extra, but like I sometimes take a joke too far sometimes.
No, see me, man, I'd be like... so for example,
I've upset people like that, by the way. Like my own friends, I've upset them. I'll say like one cuss and I'll go in on them.
No, never. So with me, it's more like if uncle, let's say we're going to a wedding, and auntie's ready, uncle's taking a bit more longer. I'm like, uncle, are you planning to find another wife today? Why are you taking longer than the auntie?
But that kind of joke, that is that can sometimes go left.
Yeah, it could.
But that's kind of being extra though.
See, you say that, but then I think it's more building a rapport and making people feel comfortable.
That's what you're trying. That's what you're trying to do. But some people will like that. Yeah. Some people will be like, "Yo, why is this guy making mad jokes?"
Let's just say, Alhamdulillah, bro. To this day, I've never had that.
You've never had it.
The going south.
The third person watching that could turn around and say that.
But
this is the part of what I say about rumors.
Yeah, true.
It can sometimes get. They don't know that you might know this uncle for 10 years.
Yeah.
And you can have that laugh and joke with them.
I think it's also the way you kind of like bust that joke. Like if I said it, uncle, what's going on, mate? Like it's taking so long. Are you planning to get another wife or something? But if I said it in a bubbly and smiley and jokey way and the tone of voice was different, it would be taken a bit more different. But I do see what you're saying. A third person might not understand that, which is where the rumors start. And generally, like you obviously like you just talk to people and just because you're a bit friendly, but you have to be, man. I can't be a prick.
That's the thing, because that's one thing that you told me as well from like a long time ago. Yeah, you was like, don't just do the transaction. Yes, try and get involved a little bit more, and so that helped me a lot because I feel like people are quick to say, yo, like this is what he did, as opposed to knowing backstory and stuff like that as well. And you know, maybe we are wrong for sometimes making these quick comments or saying something like, sometimes I don't entertain customers in a way that they expect it to be entertained. So about this guy's an arsehole. But the point is that I'm not entertaining this because we're going to get into another conversation now because this is not something that I do. Correct. So, and this I'm talking about, like, you know what, can you add this to the service? And I'm just like, nah. I'm not saying they entertain it because they think that everything is free, but it's not.
Yeah, but it's not, man.
But it's not. It costs. People don't understand how much it costs to hire a van nowadays. It's very expensive.
I've seen that.
But before I wrap this up, I was going to like, are you married yet?
No, I'm not married. I was.
You was married before?
Yeah, I was.
A lot of people on your case though, innit?
In what respects?
They want to know if you're married or not.
I don't know.
I put up a little poll on Instagram, right?
Oh, is it?
Ask them a question. That's the first thing they asked me. Are you married?
Serious?
Actually, tell a lie. That's the only thing they asked me.
No.
I had about 6 replies.
Wow. Okay.
And all they cared about is if you're married or not.
Yeah, that's weird, man. That's weird. I don't know why they would want to know that, but yeah, I was married at the age of 24.
But you do that whole thing like, yo, I'm going to the shops, I'm going to the toilet. Like, you do that thing, innit? That's why. So they want to know about your personal life. So what do you expect?
To the toilet, Kai. Just because you said that, I'm gonna snap the next time I go to the toilet, bro.
No,
but
you're mad active. Like sometimes I'll see your stories and I'm like, I don't know how this guy does it.
Yeah.
Because I look at that, I'm like, I could never do that. My friends will laugh at me, and that does have a an element. But I rate you for doing it though, because I can't do that stuff. Like I want to be that guy, like behind the camera. I can't. Like with a microphone, when I'm on radio and that, I can do it. I can have a conversation with myself. But behind the camera, I find it very hard to have a conversation. So I can understand why people want to say, "Yo, is this guy married or not?"
Yeah. Fair enough. I mean,
are you taking any CVs at the moment?
No, guys, I'm not.
Why not?
No, just. Do you know what it is with marriage? It's for me, it's a very sensitive topic.
Yeah.
I've had a past. And
a lot of people made assumptions about your past as well.
100%, man. Bro, whatever. Like, I don't even want to get.
I feel that with like bare man, like like people who are like even women as well. People make up mad assumptions of how that divorce has happened. I find that mad horrible. Even people we've had on this pod. Yeah. And like some of the people we're gonna have on that's coming after this episode, there are assumptions that I've heard, because I know them personally.
It's sad,
I'm like, how are these lot saying this stuff? Like, it's better, especially with women as well. Like, I'm just like, that's your sister, your mother, or whatever it is. It's sad to hear these stories about them because people just assume, and that kind of puts them in a bad position. I remember one of my mates who's divorced told me that her coping mechanism was spending, so she put herself into bare debt. No one's gonna know that. No one's going to know what these kind of things are happening.
It's good you just said that. One of my recovery methods back then was go spend money, buy stuff that would make me happy.
Did it bring that fulfillment to you though?
At that time, it did.
Short period
of time. Because now I was buying the most expensive trainers that I wanted, and I've always wanted it. The nicest car. Like I remember I went and bought a brand new car.
What car was it?
I think it was the Bentley Continental.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it gave me that peace in my mind because every time I went and drove that car, I loved life. Do you know what I'm trying to say? But anyways, it's just part of life. And these rumors, if I could ever somehow find a way to stop rumors, I would, because it's not fair. You don't know what kind of damage you're causing.
Yeah, 100%.
Bro, a rumor could literally mean someone doesn't give me a booking, for example, or it could mean that. You've now turned it into a spider web where it's just going round and round and round, and it's going to everyone's ears.
Well, this is kind of why I'm doing this podcast, is to clear up those misconceptions and understand you a little bit, like in that respect and what you've been through. And I feel like we've covered so much in relation to who you are, what you've been through, and 100%. It's nice to hear, because certain things I didn't know myself, and we've known each other this long. I don't know why I don't know. True. I should know. That's a L from both our ends, to be fair. But on a lighter note, I feel like I've been the bearer of bad news today. But on a lighter note,
go on.
How do we make money? Tell us about it. This time. We need to make some money. Bro, tell us.
Listen, I need advice on how to make money.
Nah, don't try that one. You just took 100k loss. There's a way. There's only one way you make 100k losses, is by having 200k in the account.
Bro, how do you make money, man? I think you know what it is. The advice that I will give you is not gonna be helpful in a short term. Simple as that. Because my process was not short term, so I can't advise you and say, look, I did Forex, I made 100 grand yesterday. I can't give you that advice. So if anyone is watching this and hoping that I'll give them the best advice, it's not going to happen. My advice would be, do something that you love, put your mind to it, and just continue. Even if you see the losses and the hardships, and clients come and rip your ears off, and you have lost data, or you have lost a camera or a mic or whatever, bro, continue, because there will be a fruitful stage at the end of it all. Right? That's the only thing I can say. Now, second to that would be, whatever field that you're going into, do your best to be different. Different is what's going to happen. Like, for example, if a client came to me 5 years ago for his sister's wedding, why would he come to me 5 years later for his wedding? And I'm charging him more. Bro, the guy's not going to come.
Yeah.
Unless between 2005 and 2010, I've upped my game, changed my cameras, style of editing is different, customer service is different. I've built a cinema room for them to now watch the wedding films rather than a little TV. I'm giving them a reason to come back to me. I'm showing them that I'm not just that Tarik that was there in 2005. I'm a whole different animal 5 years later. And because I'm a whole different person, my price has increased. I'm worth more. I'm going to give you more. But yeah, just be different, continue, don't stop. And once you've got yourself to a position that you're comfortable, I would say invest into other things. I've done that, and certain things have helped, i.e. my chauffeuring company, that's helped me a lot, and it still is. There's other things that I haven't, like I said to you, like the restaurant. I tried to get into different category of businesses because in my mind I thought of different streams of income from different sectors would help. So if the wedding industry was slow, the restaurants would be good, blah blah blah. But sometimes it's hit and miss, man. You have the wrong partners, wrong friendships, wrong whatever. So that's the advice that I would give. And lastly would be that do not ever lose focus on your initial baby, your initial business.
Thanks for the words of wisdom. Yeah, no, drop some great gems there. But so yeah, you're not gonna looking to get married anytime soon then.
Listen,
I'm using you as an excuse.
At this rate, I feel like you've mostly found someone for me or something.
No, I'm using you as an excuse. So how long have I got until you need to? I mean, listen, my older bro Tarik is not married yet, so please don't give me no more pressure.
Do you know what? If God willingly, I'd like to get married 100%. Yeah, sooner the better, because I've done everything that I can in my life. I've achieved everything that I feel like I can. Not saying that I can't continue achieving, but there's a limit to achievement as well until you stop yourself from creating family, having a family, and enjoying family time. But
that's what it is now, isn't it? You're working towards having your life.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't it?
Exactly. So to answer your question, yes.
Shall I create a little shared mailbox so people can send?
Nah, please don't. Please
Why not?
No. I'd rather have my mum find me someone, for example.
No, that's fair enough.
Do you see it? Like, I'm not gonna like put it on socials or get someone. No, I'd rather. Yeah,
but predominantly, I feel like you want to do it in a halal way now. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
HMC certified.
Yeah, if that's the only certification I can get, bro.
So tell us what's coming up for Tarik now.
So a lot of people, I'm hoping, have seen that me and my partners are opening up a new fast food joint. This fast food joint, bro, it's taken near enough 2 years to open.
Where is it?
It's in Devons Road, E3, where I grew up.
Okay.
E3, Devons Road, is a business model that we've taken. So, like, for example, a fast food chain, like a PFC, let's just say, we've taken that business model and then literally put steroids in it and turned it into a franchise model.
Okay.
So from the aesthetics to the food to the branding to the marketing to the ideas behind it, it's a whole different ball game. This will be most probably the best, inshallah, the best PFC that you will go to, and you to the point where, you know how we have the stigma where, well, I have a stigma where I wouldn't want to Snapchat a PFC box.
Why?
I don't know. I just feel like
you're too busy going to these hackathons and that's why.
No, you know what it is? It's just
I'll snap it tomorrow if I'm Aspirations. I could get less.
Everyone's different. But this is the thing. This is like I have that thing. Like, I wouldn't want to Snapchat that I'm having hot wings and chips. I don't know why. Although I love it, and everyone now knows I love it. It's where I grew up, right? But this will be a brand that you'll be willing to Snapchat. That you have in PFC, chili sauce, Donna, the raw East London PFC, and you'll be more than willing to do it because it's a brand now.
Okay. No, it's good to hear, man. I'm happy to hear that, actually, that you're doing different things.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
I hope it does go well for you. It will go well for you. You just got to, like you said, just got to keep at it and just do your thing. Don't worry about the L's. We'll all bounce back from those L's somehow or another. And if you do really want to get married to Tarik, the only way you can do it is by approaching his mom, as you know.
I like that.
So that's the way of making it happen. But yeah, thanks for coming on, Tarik. Where can everybody find you on socials and your business?
So my personal stuff would be I just said personal.
Exactly.
That's how you know my business is just in there, bro. My personal would be Tarik_Miah for Instagram. That's all I have, actually, a personal Instagram. For business would be at Picture That on Instagram. Snapchat would be picturethat.com. YouTube would be Picture That. TikTok would be Picture That. Just Picture That, really, all the way. And then just my one personal one, which is Tarik_Miah for Instagram.
Cool. Just Google him. That's what you're saying.
All that.
Yeah.
Google.
Sweet. All right. Thanks for coming on.
No problem.
Thanks everybody for listening.
Thank you.
See you on the next episode. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you hit up Tarik. And if you've got any questions that are appropriate, write in the comment section. If they're appropriate, I'm going to ask him to personally reply to you all. So yeah, because I had a lot of people on Instagram write into the boxes, but I want to see in the YouTube comments. Any advice you need, any support you need, we are here to help as much as we can with our limited knowledge that we have. And yeah, and I hope you took something away from this podcast. And yeah, stop making rumors about Tarik. Yeah, leave him alone. Thanks everyone for listening. Yeah, take care. Bye.